Welcome into the Aggie Up podcast. In this episode, we're going to touch on a lot of different things. We're going to we're going to look back at the Boise State game. We're going to talk about some in-state recruiting and some other recruiting going on. Went to the East High School game last week and have some in-state things to talk about. And we may even touch a little bit on the upcoming Mountain West schedule. So we're kind of just going to wrap up everything for the week, and we appreciate everyone listening. If you have any questions, send them to Aggie Up or call Instate on Twitter. You can ask any questions on the Spreaker app. Follow us on Spreaker. Follow us on iHeartRadio. Follow us on whatever podcast, iTunes, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. Definitely give us a review. You know, um, if you follow us, you obviously get the notifications when we have a new episode, all that kind of stuff. So I'm Isaac Draxler. It's just me and Seth tonight. How are things going, Seth?
Good, good, good.
So hopefully everybody listened to our Colorado State preview that we just recorded. That was with Ryan Kraus. He covers Colorado State, and um, and I think we got some good stuff. I mean, I think um, from what he said, they definitely have some talent. They definitely have some weapons and some talent. And so it'll be interesting on Saturday if they put it all together. What'll happen? Because obviously Utah State hasn't really put everything together by any means. So if Utah State doesn't come out, they're going to have a tough game on their hands for Saturday.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I just, well, I guess everybody just needs to listen to the other podcasts and they'll get all the
Yeah.
information we don't hash.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a 45-minute podcast. We definitely wanted to get Ryan's input and his opinions and kind of his insight for looking at that and covering that team all the time. But first, well, let me get the two things out of the way. One, this this podcast is an independent podcast. It's not affiliated with Utah State, Utah State University, the athletic department, anything like that. We're just a couple guys recording a podcast. And two, this podcast, as always, brought to you by ustateaggies.com and scout.com. It's really the only way you're going to get all the recruiting information. Um, the best Aggie coverage out there. We're adding a lot of coverage to our recruiting team and also to our basketball coverage, football coverage. Obviously, we're going to the games. We're recording podcasts and writing articles all the time on football and recruiting in general. You've got awesome recruiting analysts and guys that cover recruiting nationally, wherever Utah State may be recruiting, as part of the Scout.com network. And you also get huge benefits as far as buying tickets, buying gear, hats, shirts, all that kind of stuff. You're going to get discounts. You're also going to get discounts on tickets or anything like that you buy. So it's definitely worth it. It's not something that you should look at as an expense. It's definitely something that you're gonna save money by being a member, and you're gonna get the best coverage. So um, definitely recommend that. The this podcast, I wasn't able to get it for this podcast, but we're gonna have some promotions going on. As part of the podcast, and I just wasn't able to generate that discount code yet. So that's in the works, and that'll be only for podcast listeners. They'll put in a code to get a discount, whether it's a free month or two or three or four, and different things like that. So we're working on that. Get you some benefits, even more benefits to signing up with Scout. So so a lot of exciting things going. Basketball recruiting and basketball in general is starting to ramp up, so I'm excited about that. We've got a couple guys coming on board with Kyle Haywood and Dane Stewart that are going to be helping with the website, writing articles, and we're going to do some podcasts, some basketball focused podcasts and different things coming up, and so a lot of exciting things going on at ustateaggies.com. So definitely go there, check it out. Let us know what you think. Obviously, if you think we need more of something, more videos, more podcasts, more audio, more written articles, say you don't like to listen to podcasts, let us know. There's forums, message boards. You can hit us up on Twitter at Aggie Up or call it Ustate. Um, so all of that kind of out of the way. I wanted to start out just by talking about a little bit of in-state recruiting because I've had the chance to go to a few games, watch a few games on TV. I'm going to keep going to games in person, and I've had a chance to talk to a lot of people. And in this last week, I decided to head up to the game. It was actually East against Bountiful, and Bountiful's kind of taken a big drop. Not sure what really happened there, but Bountiful used to be one of the top programs in the state, and they did not look good at all. East High School, the first handoff of the game, Jalen Warren took it to the house. 75 yards or 70 yards, whatever, 80 yards, whatever it was. I think it was an 80-yard run, and took it to the house the first play. And really, that East High School program, speaking of programs, is one of the top, if not the top, program in the state. I mean, I would pay money to watch you know, the East High School Leopards play the Bingham Miners. So I don't know if that'll happen because East High School is obviously 4A, Bingham's 5A. But those two teams are just loaded. Um, look like the two best teams so far in the state, and unfortunately they won't play this year, but they're both nationally ranked and really impressive teams. And I think there's guys on both those teams that Utah State have offered and will offer in the future. So breaking down a couple things about those games is I don't know if you've watched East, Seth, but East has five guys on their offensive line that just get out and block. They get downfield, they get out and run in that kind of triple option offense, however you want to call it. They've got a quarterback that can run. Obviously, they don't throw the ball too much, but they've got Ford as their quarterback, and Jalen Warren is their primary running back. And Jalen Warren's kind of a guy that's picking up some momentum in recruiting. I've heard. He's a guy, in my opinion, and I'll be brutally honest in my opinion. Obviously, he is a great running back. He's put up huge numbers. As always, there's kind of good things and bad things, or not even bad things, but things that I think maybe have. I guess I would explain why he doesn't have more offers now. Because really, I mean, he's getting recruited pretty hard by like the Weber States and SUUs and Snow Colleges of the world. But I think that could change. I think he could start getting recruited by more programs. His strengths are absolutely he's got great vision, he's got great feet, he follows those blocks, really, really well. I mean, he had not only that 80-yard, he had the long run on the first play of the game, and then he had a long run later in the game that probably he would have got caught by somebody from behind if his offensive line wasn't out there. Offensive line and receivers were kind of out there blocking for him, um, because he just kind of knows how to run. He knows where to go and to do that. So the reason why I say there may be some explanation why he's not getting more offers based on his numbers and everything is just that. I mean, he can get caught from behind. He has um, I've seen highlights and even in that game, he's got guys running him down and kind of chasing him when he's out in the open field. So the good thing is obviously he gets a lot of long runs. He breaks open, runs to the right place, and he's a really good running back, especially in college. I think some colleges are probably looking at him saying, well, if he doesn't have speed to get to the edge, if he doesn't get somehow faster or something, if he doesn't have that breakaway speed, well, we're not so sure we want to offer him a scholarship. And I'm not a guy that stresses about that. I don't think you have to recruit only track stars that are super fast and can outrun everybody. Um, Especially at the running back position. But just looking at East's offense and kind of watching him in person, it's he's kind of the best way I can explain it is he's more of like a fullback. Where he's running those inside runs. He's got great feet. He's got great vision. But really, I didn't see any passes out of the backfield. Obviously, I didn't see um, any I guess a lot of variety in what he did, and so that's not necessarily that doesn't mean that he can. I'm not saying he doesn't have good hands. I just didn't see it. I mean, I've never really seen them run a play to show off his receiving skills. So he's not really a guy that because of his size and maybe experience, I don't see him as a guy that's going to switch to the slot receiver or a guy that you're going to say, oh, he's a great linebacker or he's a great running back. So I think he'll step in and be Nick Vigil at linebacker. That's kind of hard to say because he's 5'9", 5'10". Um, so I don't know that teams are saying, yeah, let's recruit him as an athlete and we'll put him at his best position. He's really a running back and he's a good running back at that. I think he'll he'll have some success in the future wherever he ends up because I think he can run the ball. He hasn't been in a D1 weight program, so I always expect guys to get better in different things, but those are kind of the pluses and minuses. And I guess to compare, Seth, stop me if I'm not making sense, but really the other, and we've written about it. It's no secret that Josh Davis is a guy that's really the other top running back prospect in the state. And Josh Davis as well is putting up huge numbers. He's breaking records. He's scoring a ton of touchdowns. He catches the ball, he runs the ball, he returns kicks, and so he's kind of the opposite of Warren. He's definitely shown that he can do it all. Um, there's just no yeah, I mean with every recruit there's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee that a guy is going to come in and be successful. There's no guarantee that a guy is going to be able to run the ball or be fast enough or strong enough or big enough to be successful. But at the same time, with Josh Davis, um, he's not tall by any means. He's not big. He doesn't have a lot of size, but Britton Covey didn't have very much size either. There's a lot of guys that haven't had great size that have been successful at Utah State. Utah State's offered scholarships, so we'll see what happens. I'm not ruling anything out, and with recruiting as always, you just never know what can happen. Um, but that's my assessment of Josh Davis. He's a special player. He's a special high school running back. He's a special athlete in high school, and someone is really going to get a great player. He's a great kid. He's great. Seems like a great teammate and a great football player. Um, He's a lot tougher and a lot stronger than most people probably realize. He's a lot better inside running back, inside runner than a lot of people think, and he's a better receiver